Hello, guys. Good afternoon. It's been a while. Oh my gosh, this whole week, I don't think I've come on live. I wanted to come on live on Tuesday. I wanted to come on Wednesday. Even today, I wanted to come earlier. But again, it's been a crazy, crazy week catching up with cases, filings, deadlines, consultations, and just lots of work. So please pardon me. In fact, I'm going to be going off in 10 minutes because I have another consultation. So I hope you guys are doing great. How's everyone doing? Where is everybody? Come on live. We're going to be chatting. Oh my gosh. I just realized that I did not even, oh my gosh, this is certainly not the title. So I just realized that I didn't even put the title of the video on my StreamYard. So U.S. immigration interview. So we're going to be talking about adjustment of status interview. Okay, so that's the topic. Okay, let me save that right here. And then, sorry, let me get this gum out of my mouth. That's what is keeping me awake this afternoon. Yeah, okay, because I'm running on low sleep. Guys, you're welcome. Welcome. Drop me your comments. Let me know where you're watching from. We just have a few minutes to go on live off. So today I was in an interview with some clients and it was an adjustment of status interview, of course, with a USCIS officer, a couple of clients, and there are some issues that came up that I want to discuss with you guys and make sure that you are ready when you go for your adjustment of status interview. So an adjustment of status interview, again, you can differentiate that from a consular process or from a consular interview. Consular interview is done when you are outside the United States. That's the beneficiary of the application is outside the United States. However, an adjustment of status is done when the beneficiary of the immigration application that has been filed is right here in the United States. Okay, so if you're here in the United States and somebody has filed for you, an organization or your family member has filed for you, you'll be called for an adjustment of status interview. So you will attend the interview and most likely you will file a form known as the I-485. So with the I-485, that's where, there are some issues. So generally, you're going to be asked questions on the I-485. In fact, when you were filing the application, you were asked these questions. So there are questions on your general admissibility, just to make sure that you are actually eligible to get an immigration benefit. So there are some security-related questions, as well as other questions. And we'll look at a couple of the questions soon. So the quick tip I want to give you guys is that if you're going through the questions, make sure that you understand what the questions are. Some of the questions are legal questions and some are actually factual questions. So some of the questions are based on law and some of the questions are just, they're just questions about you to see if you are eligible. Of course, some of the questions based on law are also about you, but they have specific and technical meanings in law. So the thing is, you have to understand the question that's being asked because sometimes some people use a trick that, okay, on this page on the I-485, every answer is no. So I'm going to be saying no. But if you get an interviewer, an immigration officer that says, okay, you said no, what does this actually mean? Then you're going to be in some sort of trouble. Okay, so you need to make sure you understand the legal basis of the question. Let's take a look at what I mean. And oh my gosh, I should have shared. Okay, not too late, guys. Drop me your comments. Drop me the flag of the country you're from. I'll be reading your comments. I know you guys. Some of you are immigrants. Maybe not all of you. So please drop me the flag of the country you're from and let me know that you are here with me and you are not as sleepy as I am because you have been running on a few hours of sleep. Okay, so it comes right after the biographic information. So let's go right here. So the part 8, that's we're looking at the I-485, page 10 of the I-485. So this is the general eligibility and inadmissibility grounds. Okay, so that's what we're going to be discussing right here. Oh my gosh, I see the lovely comments coming in. I'll be reading them soon. We just have a few minutes. Okay, so right here. These are really, really, really legal questions. So you need to make sure you understand, again, the substance of the question. So the first one is, have you ever had a prior final order of exclusion, deportation, or removal reinstated? If you've had a prior final order that has been reinstated, you need to answer yes. Normally, most people would say no because it doesn't apply to them. But then if you're asked, okay, what does this mean? You need to be able to understand and explain. Normally, as part of my preparation with my clients, I go through these questions and, we try to understand what they mean, so that when they are asked specifically, what does this mean, they will be able to tell them what it means. And usually they would ask you what that means if the interviewer realizes that, you're just getting by with a little bit of English, like you don't seem really solid, or you don't seem super confident about the answers you are giving. Okay, if you've been able to express yourself eloquently, chances are they may not bother to ask you, do you really understand that question? What does it explain it to me, the officer? But if you display that, okay, you understand what you're saying, then they most likely won't ask you. But for the avoidance of doubt, it's always better to make sure that you understand what each question is saying. So, for example, have you ever held lawful permanent resident status, which was later rescinded? So have you ever been a green card holder, and has this been cancelled before? So something like this, rescinded. Somebody may not know what this means. It's really simple. Sure why? Okay, yeah. We're disconnected briefly. So those are some of the things you need to be mindful of. Have you ever applied for any kind of relief or protection from removal, exclusion, or deportation? So if you've applied for something like cancellation of removal or withholding of removal, you say yes. If not, you say no. So all these things, you need to make sure that you understand them really, really, really well, okay, before you go for your adjustment of status interview. Otherwise, that they might question you and you will be okay. So let's look at a couple more of these questions, and then I'll be off. I'm running today. So we have right here, are you presently or have you ever been in removal, exclusion, rescission, or deportation proceedings? All these things have technical meanings and have a meaning in law. So you need to understand what they mean by removal proceedings or exclusion proceedings and be able to give the correct answer. When you give that answer and you are asked, do you understand what that means? You should be able to explain. You've been issued a final order of exclusion, deportation, or removal. No. What does that mean? Has a judge ever, told you that you are deported from the United States? If no, then you do understand it, so. Or if yes, you explain it to them. So you should I just came on to tell you guys that with the yes or no answers on the I-485, the take home is that don't just do yes or no, yes, 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 no, no, no. Understand the import of the questions, make sure you turn them inside out, and then you understand them and you can explain them back to the interviewer who will be adjudicating your case. Okay, guys, so let me read a few comments and then I will come back again later because I just wanted to show up today for even if just for a few minutes. So we have this name, I'm sorry, I can't read it. He's saying hi, hello, welcome. So happy you joined us. Angela Aboagye says, hello, beautiful lawyer Papi B. Hey, Angela, we miss you so much. I hope you're doing well. I will be in touch, hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. Thank you so much, Angela, for joining. Even more beautiful, Angela. She is a very beautiful Ghanaian woman. So yeah, we have Frank Daku Jane Fee, who is giving us a thumbs up. Thank you, Frank, for joining. Thank you for that. Frank Daku Jane Fee says, is it necessary to add your kids outside Ghana to the form? Or you can do it after the green card? It's always necessary. If you're asked the number of children you have, it doesn't matter whether your kids are in space or they're on the moon or they're in, on an island. You need to add, if they ask you how many children do you have, add everybody. Okay, add everybody to the form. You don't wait to do it till you get the green card, because I've actually had consultations where people, they filled the forms by themselves. They didn't add the names of their children to their green card. Well, it was yeah, sometimes green card application or sometimes the visa lottery applications, and then they were trying to do application to become US citizens, and now they want to add their children. It becomes a problem. Again, sometimes people will fill these forms that will not add their children, and then they submit tax returns, and on the tax returns they've claimed these children. So they're like, why this discrepancy? On tax returns, you haven't, on your green card application, adjustment of status, you haven't listed any children. So those are recipes for disaster. So be careful. Just answer the questions you are being asked. If you are being asked, how many children do you have? Doesn't matter where they are. You need to mention, okay. How much time will it take the humanitarian parole when the beneficiary will get the visa, especially for Afghan national? So how much time it will take, I can't give that answer. Huge backlog. There has been, you know, I understand there has been a place that has been set up solely to, you know, kind of process and adjudicate the Afghan paroles. We've been filing a lot ourselves from this office. There's just a huge backlog, and there's just a lot of delay that we've been seeing within the past couple weeks. So hang in there, hang in there. The beneficiary will get the visa when the humanitarian parole application is approved. Once it's approved, then there's a consular processing aspect. Okay, so they would have to appear in the U.S. embassy where they are located, you know, the closest place, and take their visa. That's when the you know, the visa will be given. Well, the humanitarian parole document, I should say, you know, it's not technically a visa, but the parole document. I received a receipt number for humanitarian parole on 21st September. Oh my gosh, that's a month ago. Yes. There's really been the adjudication has been quite slow, so it's quite normal. But yeah, just keep checking. And I don't know if you actually expedited this. They're saying no longer necessary to actually write expedited, because they understand that these cases are expedited, or even call the center to expedite. So what some people were doing was that they would call USCIS to actually expedite when they got the receipt notice. Also, contact your congressman and then try to expedite this as well. My wife is a citizen, I'm not, but I wanted to bring my mom and dad here. What will be the best way for us? Guys, I have to run off. I have a consultation now. So if your wife, you are not a citizen, you cannot bring your parents. Only citizens can bring their parents here in the US. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for joining. I will join you guys again. We'll do another live video, and then we can have a more comprehensive chat. If you need my help, call me on that number, representing immigrants across the United States and handling all types of US immigration law matters. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. I'll see you when I see you in the next video. Till then, take care and bye-bye.